Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the Skanaw Patrol Frigate. Now, this is from the Dilithian Lee Skanaw class for the Trade Federation. Um, Interesting ship. I kind of like the design, the fact that when we look at this, we're going to kind of go through all the stats here. We have a capital class ship. It is 217 meters long. It's kind of more of a narrow tube. I'll bring a picture up here. So this is our primary picture of it, and some of the things I don't think I ever really kind of noticed before. Um, this is not from any actual canon source. So as we look at this, it has an interesting kind of placeholder here. Um, as best as I can tell, because I know I've looked at this ship many times before, but looking it up, trying to figure out exactly where it comes from, who designed it, anything, I can't find any actual information. What I'm guessing is when Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast actually had the licensing for doing Star Wars the role playing game, I think this was one of the ships that they had kind of come up with online. And of course, because that doesn't exist anymore, and it's been so many years ago since they've had it, none of that is available. So I don't think anybody actually kept it outside of that, except they had a nice converting template so you could take the D6 ships or characters or whatever and convert it into your D20. So what a lot of people were doing is they weren't the happiest with the D20 at first, at least. Um, they were taking a lot of that and they were backwards engineering it. So they were taking all the D20 ships that they were coming out with, especially for the Clone Wars and that, and they were taking that and putting it back into the old D6. So I think that's where this really comes from and why I can't find anything else on it. Um, the only little bit of a write up I did see is somebody had made a comment because they were making a 3D model of this of their own, and the only thing they can, they had mentioned in their own little write up was they couldn't find any actual information on who designed it. Um, it's not in any actual movie or anything, so this is one of the ship designs that George Lucas loved for extra toys to be made of or different things because this is stuff in the background, not exactly what's in front of the camera, but other stuff in the background. He did love that we had other people helping to flush things out. To say it in this regards, when Kenner, who originally had the license before they got bought out by Hasbro, for making some of the extra toys and ships and cars and all that stuff for Star Wars, they came to him with some offbeat designs, and he said, "Yeah, let's do that." Um, there's two reasons for that. First of all, he was kind of making a little bit of a royalty off of it, which kind of helps. But the other thing is, he did make the comment, it's great to help make the universe a lot larger than what he was able to do because really the whole story is a very small group of people that you really spend the whole time with, between Han, Luke, Leia, Lando, Chewie, R2, and 3PO. That's really your whole group. I mean, you see other characters, but everything evolves around them. That's the main core of the story. Just like if we watch Star Trek, really we have a bigger group because we have the seven characters, and I'm going to mess this all up. We have Chekhov, Sulu, we had Captain Kirk, we had Uhura, Spock, McCoy, and Scotty. But the key three were Kirk, McCoy, and Spock. And the dynamic between those three. Now, without having the other cast in there, at least on the ship taking care of things while they're underground doing whatever else, it would seem very odd. But it is one of those things. That is the main core of the group. Um, so here again, we're looking at a ship that's not part of the core group of everything else we see online. This is something else that's offline, like a support ship or whatever else. The idea behind this one is this was an earlier Trade Federation patrol vessel to help patrol and keep their um, transport ships safe before they started turning them into battleships. Okay, so that's the real idea behind this. So when we look at this, we have a crew of 44. Only four of them are organic, and 40 are droid uh, pilots or crewmen or whatever. Um, we can carry up to 100 passengers, and the figuring is we have 50 battle droids, 25 super battle droids, and 25 starfighters. We have a cargo capacity of 1,100 metric tons, 6 months of consumables for the four people. We have a times two hyperdrive. It does have a nav computer. It doesn't have a backup hyperdrive though. Only a maneuverability of 1D. This is not really, I mean, just like with the space, we have a space of four. It's a slow, lumbering kind of vessel. It's not a fast fighter or whatever. It's really there to help patrol and keep the bulk freighters that go slow kind of covered with gunfire here. And anything faster than we have 40. Um, where do we have 25 droid starfighters that can quick kick on out and help defend. Okay, so we have a hull of 4D, so this thing is a pretty resilient hull. It has shields of 2D plus 1, so the shields are just a little bit above average for what we normally see. Our sensor packet has passive scanners being out to about 3 kilometers. Our active scanning is 6 kilometers. Our search is 9 kilometers. And our focus is about 600 meters. So, really, that's a very nice sensor package on there. And for weapons, we have two medium laser cannons, and these are all capital scale. So, really, our big, huge laser cannons sitting here. Um, and it's got a crew of 4 droids for each one. Has a fire control of 2D plus 1 and does a damage of 4D plus 2. So just a little bit above average for what we would normally see in our combat for damage. Um, it's not a bad ship, and one of the nicer things is it's one of the few ships, for whatever reason, that somebody went through the trouble and we actually have a schematic. So it goes from deck one. So we have our bridge and we have a turbo lift. So we have just a spot for 2 pilots. So you can see that this is a fairly narrow ship, really. Second floor is our control room. So we're going to have more droids just kind of packed in there. And we have a third floor control room. So whether that's um, kind of stacked up or however that works, but so we have levels 2, 3, and 4 with control rooms. 5 is another control room. So they're the ones taking care of most of the things, what's going on, and all that. And it is packed in there pretty close. Once we start getting to level 6, then we start seeing a back to tank, some medical beds. We have a turbo lift in here, or that's the top. So this must be like a double level. I'm gonna guess maybe this. We do have I don't know. I'm gonna guess levels 2 and 3 are the same in some regard, and 4 and 5 are really the same. It's just that because they're taller levels, um, and it may have been done that way because um, trying to figure out which droids are going to work in there. I don't know, but that's really what I'm looking at and the way I'm kind of interpreting this. Now I could be completely wrong. Either way, but here we go. We have level 6. We have a back to access, and then in 7 there's the tank proper. So we have some medical beds, and then we have all the medical equipment on the level 7. And then level 8 we have a brig. 9 and 10 we start getting cargo area, and then we start fanning out. So then we have 11 as cargo, 12 as cargo, 13 we get some storage, turbo lift, an extra turbo lift in here, um, an atrium, and we get an access to the shuttle deck. So once we get 14, there's our launch path, and this is our vulture droids are hanging in the racks. Then level 15 is just an open bay because that's really to allow everything to go in and through the hangar bay here. And then as I come up here, then we actually start getting for the organics. So now we have some guest cabins in here. We have hygiene, galleys, um, our lounge area and our dining area and all that stuff. So this is really where we start getting room dedicated for our organic crew here. And then we have our escape pod on 17, and this shoots on all the way down here. There's our turbo lift. We have some more escape pods, so we got 3 of them here. We have some crew cabins. We have our super battle droids, our battle droid racks, our gun station access for the lower, just like there should be. Actually, that looks like that must be for both sides. We have our reactor containment baffles, our reactors proper, and then engineering crawl spaces for everything else. So, really, that's kind of what we have. It is quite a few levels here, as it is a taller ship, but it really is a condensed ship. Now, one of the things I did not notice, and hopefully you can see the mouse going around here, um, we actually have a spot for a stealthopede shuttle sitting right here. So that shuttle fits in there, and then you can actually get into it. So when we start looking at our decks, that should be um, right here above our atrium, I'm guessing. No, that's going to have an access here. Here, gas station access or gun station access. That's got to be somewhere in here. Probably through our engineering crawl spaces or whatever. It must be where we have our access through because that's in the back. So, um, not saying that this is going to be 100% the best schematics, but it's one of the few times we actually get some schematics. So, it is an interesting ship to sit here and say, we got some pictures, we got some great schematics for this. So you can see how everything kind of works out here. And we get a good view of the ship. And like I said, I'd never really put one and one together until now that we actually have a docking spot for another shuttle. Um, so we have an external docking spot here, as well as inside here. This is our hangar underneath in here. So, um, wonderful idea, great design. Um, Not to say somebody couldn't take this and have a modified version of it or whatever else, but to just sit here and say the part that really interests me is the fact that it only requires 4 actual people, and then we have a bunch of droids on there. So, it could easily work as a nice ship for a crew of characters. Maybe you bought this on the black market or something um, after the Clone Wars were done or something like that. Um, Hard to say, but it is an interesting design, especially for the fact that, like I said, we don't get a big steady group of information as to where this really comes from, who designed it, or anything else. This could have been an extra ship that was meant to go out, and then when they saw the picture of it or whatever, they said, "Hey, let's get this thrown into the game." Knowing how George Lucas was working with companies in the past, especially West End Games, trying to make sure that they had stuff, and they may have wanted to get something out, something unique that wasn't in their books or whatever else. Um, And I know I do have some of the D20 Star Wars, but I don't have any stats for this. Um, there's one extra book that might have had it, but I can't. I don't know. It's been so long ago. I don't know where I've stuck that. But otherwise, searching around, I can't find anything else. So everything I've got here is all just pure speculation. But it would kind of fit to say, this is one of their earlier designs for uh, patrolling and keeping their uh, big transports safe before they started um, outfitting them, retrofitting them to become battleships. So, with that being said, hope you're having a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.